Anyway, so let's go from one cast member from Empire to the creator of Empire. And let's talk about Lee Daniels. So, Pride ended officially. Well, we got other prides that's going to be coming up. But the big pride that we have, like in New York and LA and all that stuff, pride's kind of come to an end. And I guess in other places in the United States. So now that Pride has come to a close, who said that we got to stop Pride after a month? We can keep it going for as long as we do. Pride should be every damn day. But anyway, speaking of Pride, Lee Daniels is revealing why he has mixed feelings about Pride. So I saw this clip over there at Gay Magazine, and I thought that we should discuss it. And I'll give my overall thoughts after we hear what he has to say. Please hold.
Happy Pride, everybody. I have mixed feelings about Pride because my first Pride was how many years ago? 50 years ago. And
how
so
old are you?
it was more of a movement than it was a celebration. Even though we were celebrating Pride, it was more of a movement. And all my friends were dying. So now it's like Starbucks and rah, rah, rah and glitter and I don't know what it is now, but I think we should be prideful. We should be prideful always. No, I don't think, I know we should be prideful. I just don't, it doesn't mean to me what it meant when I first went to my first Pride. But happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride, everybody. I have
Okay, so
mixed feelings about Pride.
Stop moving in the chair. But anyway, so I totally get where he's coming from in regards to that whole situation because he's saying like when around the time that he was doing Pride, he said 50 years ago. I'm like, God damn. Was it really around like that long ago? But anyway, so he's saying that with all of that, it was around the time, I guess, of like the AIDS Holocaust. A lot of his friends were dying. It was a time when things weren't so great for queer people during Pride season. And it just took him out in a lot of situations, I guess, because he feels that, it was a protest. People were out here trying to fight for rights. And now we're in a situation where everything is honky-dory, that it feels more like it's advertisements for like Starbucks and Chase Bank and all these little corporations are trying to come on board for the gay money or whatever. They want to show like they're allies, but then when it comes down to certain situations, y'all be the first ones to abandon ship. But I have noticed that over the years, and a lot of people have been complaining about this, a lot of those big endorsements where you got Disney, well, I don't know if Disney kind of backed out, but when you get these big corporate donations or the corporate sponsorships and stuff, they're starting to kind of backpedal because so it's like we're going backwards almost. And people are getting a little more conservative and people aren't being as out loud and proud as they once was. I mean, of course, in LA and New York and all the more liberal spaces, the gays are going to live it up. But there are people, and we're going to get into a conversation about the Supreme Court and how they voted against trans people in sports. We still are dealing with a lot of things regarding, lashings at the queer community. And so I could totally understand where he's coming from with that. But I wanted to see what some of the comments was over here saying. One person said, you have to make Pride about what it means to you. Celebrate in your own way. If you want to go to a huge parade or a club, do just that. If you want to go, a symposium. I don't know if that's what he meant, but that don't make no sense. Or rally or conference, do that as well. If you choose not to celebrate at all, that is your choice. All the choices are fully available. Another person said, why would it be the same 50 years ago to now though? So it's like, yeah, you can't expect things to just be what it was. But I totally understand if you're talking about that is a little too it's gotten too corporate, then or a little too it's all about the sponsorships and all the other stuff that is not about celebrating the true, like celebrating what it really means to be openly queer and prideful. Then that requires a bigger conversation. I need a little more than just a little snippet that Gay Magazine done posted and is getting everybody all riled up. Another person said, why do people get upset when things evolve or change? Pride shouldn't focus on the same issues 50 years ago. Another person said, good talk. Now put the damn phone down now and pick up the keyboard and release the damn Star movie. Another person, I mean, how has he continued to make it movement irrelevant to either his personal or professional expertise. I'm sure some cities' pride, namely Atlanta, the Hollywood of the South, would welcome his platform to move the LGBTQIA representation forward in film production, writing, producers, etc. Another person said, respect to the older gay generation. They definitely went through it. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's that Lee needs to work out whatever trauma that he's had to deal with as a older black gay man in America. He's got to work out those demons. And honey, maybe the only way you can work them demons out is get in front of a computer and write a script about it and make the movie. Because as the generations continue, we've got to evolve the movement. And yes, Pride was a protest. The very first, it was always been a protest. And we can keep the protests going. But by being visible, by being out there marching, by showing how prideful we are, by showing the joy that we have and not allowing those bigots to take away our spirit or destroy who we are and us being resilient, that to me is us being prideful. So stop looking at it as just, us being out here and celebrating and making it more corporate. The corporations, they could do whatever the hell they want, but I'm gonna still be out here living my truth regardless of the corporations and all that other stuff. But let me read one. Let me see what he said. Let me read 3 more and we can get up off this. One person said, yeah, them old heads really went through it, yo. But really, pride these days is just about normalizing gay behavior. So just be you. If that's Starbucks and glitter, then great. Not everybody is leather in politics. Some people just want to have fun and dance, and that's fine too. And those people show up at the pride events. Maybe the media doesn't want to show that because it's not going to get, it's not something that reeks of sensationalism, which is what media relies on. And that's why people, oh yeah, I hear being sexual around the kids. Mind you, the main ones that be out here dealing with your children are fucking straight people, but they always want to blame it on the gays. Another person said, black people are still oppressed, but I'm still shaking as of Juneteenth. Gotta celebrate the small wins, though there's still so much more to be done. There has been a lot of advancement. You don't have to blow bubbles or throw glitter to celebrate, but find a way to celebrate that's meaningful to you. And last one I'm going to read is, I get what he's saying. Pride comes from survival and resistance in the middle of immense loss, especially during the AIDS crisis, and that history just doesn't fade. So I understand why the shift toward celebration can feel complicated for some. At the same time, the joy and visibility now are also part of what the fight of what that fight made possible. We're allowed to dance in spaces that were once only grief, but both can be true. Pride holds activism, remembrance, and celebration all at once, and I think it's important to acknowledge that our elders' feelings and emotions are valid, shaped by experiences many of us would not have been able to endure. And I'm glad I finally came across that one, because I feel like that just puts the bow on the cake, or the icing on the cake and the bow on the present. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with what Lee Daniels had to say in regards of, his mixed feelings regarding pride? I mean, I totally get where he's coming from in regards to all of that, but yeah, the older homosexuals, they've been through some shit. That's why I love conversing with a lot of my older gay folks, because you learn so much about what came before us, so that way we don't repeat what happened in those times, or we're just ready for whatever's going to happen, because history likes to repeat itself. And in knowing our history of what it's like growing up being queer in America, and what so many queer people, our queer ancestors, had to deal with, you want to be prepared and not have to go through that mess again. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.